hear me now? It's good now? We good? We good now? We good right now? Make sure that like button when y'all come up in here. Yeah, all right, bet. Appreciate you. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Make sure you hitting that like button. Make sure you hitting that like button when y'all come up in here. Make sure you hitting that like button. Make sure you hitting the like button. Already. Real quick before we get started, but yeah, I know it's been a little uneventful, a little bit sad, I guess. After the game Sunday, which is kind of weird to me because like that was the best team in football, so it's kind of weird. Me personally, it's kind of weird that a lot of people have been like completely just down and out, like they down and done with the season, uh, because we lost to the Lions when the Lions are the best team in football, and I think a lot of people late before the season and also before the game on Sunday picked the Texans to lose that game, even Texan fans. So the fact that we lost, I don't know why it's a shocker. Maybe it's the way we lost. Maybe like because of having, uh, maybe it's because the Lions had five interceptions, so we forced like 5 turnovers, and maybe that is the reason why they feel like, man, the game was that close, and I mean, if we can do all that and we still beat the Lions, we not be able to beat the Lions. So maybe it was more so like a realization type thing. I don't know, but I mean, to me, I just feel like it's kind of weird that people like kind of been like so sad and down out when it comes to the Texans off of the Lions game. Uh, I feel like the game, if losing the game made you out of the team, I feel like it should have been the Jets game because the Jets, even though the talented team, the Jets are not a good football team. They got a lot of talent, but they're not a good football team. And no juncture of the season outside of the 3 scoring drives at the end of the game for the 3 consecutive scoring drives they had that they scored on the Texans in the second half. Uh, Outside of that, that is the only time they look like a good football team in any juncture of this season. There's no other part of this season, not one other part of this whole entire season that the New York Jets look like a good football team outside of those 3 drives against the Texans. So to me, I would feel like that right there would have been the situation, the moment right then and there. You'd be like, hey, maybe this ain't the team I thought they were. Maybe this team not gonna be able to do what I wanted them to do or what I thought they could do. Like that to me, I seem like that would have been the moment. I feel like that would have been the moment for Texans to be down and out and to be sad about the team, not the game against the Lions, not the game against the Lions. I'm just, to me, I don't know. But make sure you hit the like button. More people jump up in here. I need y'all to hit the like button. So let's talk about. So the Texans go up to Dallas Monday Night Football to go up against those hated rivals in the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't consider the Dallas Cowboys a rival. I don't. I know it's a Houston Dallas thing. I'm not from Houston. I live in Houston, but I'm not from Houston. So I get like, if you're from the city of Houston and you don't like the city of Dallas, if you're from the city of Dallas, you don't like the city of Houston. I understand. I understand the city rivalry. I get the Cowboys themselves, or to me, are one of the most favorite teams to me because I'm a Texan fan. We in the AFC, they in the NFC, so we're in 2 different divisions, 2 different conferences. So what Dallas do, Dallas can go every game they play, when they don't play the Texans. I do not care if Dallas is 16, 17. No, I don't care. That don't matter to me. I'm not. I don't be. Oh yeah, the Dallas Cowboys lost. Ha ha ha. That's not me personally. That's just not me. I can care less. They are irrelevant no matter what they do. The only time they relevant to me is if we play them or they somebody in our division. Or they playing somebody that I need them to beat because we need them to lose so we can get home for the advantage or get a better playoff position, or whatever the case may be. Outside of that, I don't care what the Dallas Cowboys do. See, they're not a rivalry. But I know to some people, this be some people's Super Bowl. Be the beating the Dallas Cowboys and vice versa. Cowboys beating the Houston Texans. So to some people, that's how it be. And shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. There was not one time Texans look. There's not one time the Texans look like a good team. I guess to what I said about the Jets. Nah, that's not true. That's not true. The Texans team multiple times this season. I mean, at one point, the Texans were like the third, like in power rankings. They had the Texans as the third, like ranked third in power rankings. Like Texans look good. That first half against the Dolphins, not against the Dolphins. The first half against the Lions, the Texans look good. The first half against the Bills. Uh, the game against the Patriots. The game against the Bears. They actually look like a good football team. Who else did we play? There's times that the Texans look like a good football team. The Jets, none of their games outside of the three drives that they play against us, that the Jets themselves look like a good football team. The Texans have looked like a good football team. Even after the game, you like, okay, this is a football team. So no, I think that's untrue. But shout out to Chris for the super chat, love. Definitely appreciate that. Uh, who does an OC? I would like to see Gerard Johnson a shot at the OC. I wouldn't mind them bringing in Kubiak and let him be some type of consultant. Uh, Clint Kubiak's son, Kubiak. I wouldn't mind them bringing him in as well. But I don't think none of this will happen. I think Bobby is going to be the OC. We will see what happens at the end of the season if they decide to make a decision. I don't know if they'll decide to make a decision. Hope they do. I hope they, but we'll see. We'll see exactly what they would do. But what I was saying about like the Texans and the Cowboys, like I said, so this is a game. Again, this game before the season started was gonna have a lot of juice to it because we thought it was gonna be potentially the two best teams in said division and the two best teams able to go out there and then their divisions. And this would be a people wanted this the game. I thought this should have been the thing. I was one of those that thought this game should have been the Thanksgiving game. That's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it should have been the Thanksgiving game. Um, and it probably would have been better, as of right now, would have been better to have it the Thanksgiving game because I think it was significant to be the Thanksgiving game than to be the Monday Night Football game on week 11 NFL. Like I don't think this is not an intriguing game unless you a Texan or unless you're a Texan fan or unless you're a Cowboy hater. Because even for Cowboy fans, this is not an intriguing game. It's not an intriguing game for Cowboys. It's only an intriguing game for the Texan fans. And actually, it might not even be. I ain't gonna lie to you. To most Texan fans, the way Texan fans have been feeling since that line, this might not even be an intriguing game for the Texan fans. I think this might only be an intriguing game for people who hate the Cowboys and they just want to watch the Cowboys to lose and root for the Cowboys to lose, which this year actually is not even the year to root for the Cowboys to lose because I think Cowboy fans are checked out of the Cowboys. So since the Cowboy fans are out of the Cowboys, the Cowboys fans losing don't even have misery to it. I don't even think Cowboy fans are even miserable. I think they're one Dallas fans that likely might be rooting for the Cowboys to lose so they can get Shador and probably get Deion Sanders. So they're probably like rooting for the Cowboys to lose. Honestly. And shout out to that boy Chris once again for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. I hear you. I hear your practice squad is getting you hear our practice squad is guarding CeeDee Lamb. Wow. Shout out Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Uh uh I don't even know if CeeDee Lamb playing this game, honestly. I mean, it's so much because I don't even know if it's gonna be Cooper Rush or if it's gonna be Trey Lance. Like I don't know what Dallas is gonna do, honestly. Like to be honest, I really don't know what Dallas is gonna do. This is one of the weirder previews that I've done and that I probably will do, honestly, because I feel like Dallas and their fans and their organization and the team itself feel like they're checked out this season. And I feel like, especially Dallas fans, like I said, they're hoping and want to get Shador Sanders and to get Deion Sanders. So position themselves closer in the draft to either get the pick outright, the draft Shador, or put themselves in a position where they can flex and be able to move up in the draft. Hope that Deion and like Shador like basically like hold and be like, no, I'm not going here. I'm not going X. I'm not going Y. I'm not going Z. I'm only going to Dallas. I'm only going. That's the only place I'm going. I'm not going nowhere else but DFW. I mean, Shador is from that area. I mean, he grew up. He grew up in Dallas. He played high school in one of the Dallas schools out there in high school. So I feel like that's where they will go if they had the opportunity. And I think that Dallas wants to put themselves in position. Oh, and then also they don't have their starting quarterback in Dak. They got Cooper Rush, but he might not even play. They might throw out there Trey Lance, or they might do a dual situation where they might play some might treat it like a preseason game. Play some Cooper Rush, play some Trey Lance, whatever. Just go out there and just play football. So a lot of the statistics don't really just factor in. And shout out to Chris once again for the share love. Definitely appreciate that. You wonder how many times Parsons gonna get to CJ. I mean, well, CJ's been sacked 34 times. And that's something that we've not done well, is protect CJ. Michael Parsons might actually get to CJ a couple times. It wouldn't surprise me. Hey, shout out to that boy Big B for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Hey, shout out to that boy Big B for the super chat love. What's the motherfucking deal, bro? Already, man. What's the deal? Like, what is been going on, bro? Like, bro, hey, bro, been going on, man. Like I said, everybody been upset. Everybody went ghost. You know what I'm saying? The Discord been quiet all week long, bro. And it's been everybody been on hush. That's what's going on, man. That Lions game hurt that bad, man. But say shout out to that boy Big B for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate that. But let's get to some of the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. So this season, CJ Stroud is 207 completions off of 329 attempts, which is 62.9 complete percentage. His complete percentage keep going down. He's thrown for 371 yards. He has 12 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. So already has more interceptions than he had all last year. Like I said earlier, he has been sacked 34 times and has a quarterback rating of 89.1, which again, all these are trending towards career low. Career low in yards, career low in completion percentage, career low in touchdowns, a career high. He already has a career high in interceptions and a career high in low in quarterback rating. So again, his season, the way it looks, is not looking good. Joe Mixon has 655 yards, averaging 4.3 yards a carry with 7 touchdowns. Nico Collins, it looks like he'll finally make his return. Limited yesterday, he was a full practice today, so it looks like that he's going to be Nico Collins, he hasn't played since week 5, has 567 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tank Dell has 394 yards touchdowns, and we've seen the emergence of Mechie last week having his best game ever. Was treated 6 times, had 5 catches for 74 yards, and had his first ever career touchdown. So he looks like that he's trying something. So if we're able to get out of him to be that third receiver, especially with the addition and Nico being especially with the addition of Nico being back, I think that will help CJ out tremendously. And again, if we're able to get something with this running game, because unlike what people for some reason feel like on Twitter that we have a good running game, we've seen it in person, live and live in color against Detroit Lions, who is not a defense, by the way, because they went all out to stop said run. They weren't able to run the football. Like I've told y'all before, but people don't act like they don't want to listen, don't understand. Just because somebody gets 100 yards does not mean that they're good. We have a good running back, but we don't have a good running game. You know why? Because we don't scheme it, we don't coach it or call it well, we don't block it well. Outside of Joe Mixon, we don't run it well. So therefore, we do not have a good running game. Just because Joe Mixon in games where they gave up the run game, when they gave up the cookie, Joe Mixon was able to get 100 yards game. But when they anchor down and decide to focus on stopping the run, they're going to stop the run. You know why? Because we're not a good running team right now. We're a good team. I don't care how you slice it. And again, the Detroit Lions were able to show you and prove to you not a good running team. So it is what it is. Now, some other bright spots. 2 rookies, Kamari Lassiter and Kalen Bullock, both have interceptions. Kamari Lassiter has 3 interceptions. Rookie Kalen Bullock has 5 interceptions on the season, which is tied for second in the NFL and tied for first and all rookies with the with DB Jalen McCough from the LA Rams. So we do have two rookies that are able to take away the football and able to get some interceptions. So when you play quarterbacks like a Cooper Rush, especially a Trey Lance plays, I expect to be able to take the football away. And again, that's something that we wasn't doing early on in the season. But what game was it? I think it was the game against the Patriots. We started getting some turnovers in that game. I think did we get 3 interceptions in that game? We forced 4 turnovers. We got 2 interceptions, and we got 2 interceptions, and we got two forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries in that Patriots game. We weren't able to get any turnovers against the Jets. We got against what you call it, AR. We got 3 interceptions against the Jets against Green Bay, and we were able to get 5 interceptions last week. Even though I think one of them was a strip sack, but so the defense is starting to come along and able to get something to play, able to make some plays, able to turn the football over. So that's what we got to do. I feel like with these guys, again, with Kamari Lassiter and Caleb Bullock, able to be able to turn the football over, I think that we'll be able to, especially with, like I said, a Cooper Rush and a Trey Lance, I feel like we'll be able to turn the football over and be able to make some plays. And I think it'll be very beneficial, obviously, for the Texans to be able to give them some extra possessions, especially with Nico being back in the game. And I shout out to that boy Big B for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. I keep doing it. Boy said, boys pissed me off. pissed me off and disappointed me, bro. I had to stop giving my energy. Hey, I feel you, bro. They got you there, man. I can see, again, not surprised that they lost, but I can see of how they played and how they got your hopes up being up 23-7 in the first, able to get all those interceptions, and then having the football at the end to ice. Something that we've talked about ad nauseum before, about like, as long as you get 7 the chance to end the game, he's going to end the game, and you did. 7 had in his hands at a tie game and should have been able to end the football game, and he didn't. And truth be told, that's the second time that's happened this season. The first time, the Bills. Now, we did win the game, but 7 had the ball in his hands. We weren't able to do anything with it. I think it took us. Did it take us out of field goal range? Yeah, it took us out. It took us out of field goal range, and like he threw that penalty. That penalty that took us out of field goal range, and we ended the football back. Luckily, our defense was able to stop Josh Allen, and Josh Allen couldn't get no completions. We got the football back and was able to win the game. But yeah, so I was able to end up winning that game. But 7 should have ended it before we even got to that. And should have ended it last week. So on that standpoint, I do agree that right there was more alarming and more alarming and disappointing than the loss itself. It was that, hey, even though they came back, whatever, I've always been with the mindset, like since that Tampa Bay game last year, if you give the football last to 7, you'll win that game. The only other time was last year against the Jags, and it was a lot of other factors as well, but you should be able to get, if 7 gets the football last, you should be able to win that game. And he did disappoint. He did disappoint. So I get you on that. I actually do. And shout out to that boy, Big B for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Tyus Howard gets his first strip fumble. Yeah. I don't know. Does that even count as a strip fumble? Like, does that count on his statistics? We looked it up if he has a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. I don't even know if it does happen. I would have loved to hear like the be in the room when they would have been playing the tape in the offensive meeting and see the coaches, team, and everybody reacted to that. Like, to see it on film, I would have loved to be in the room, because that's like the craziest thing ever. Like, I've never seen that before, ever. I've never seen that before. Like that. I know they was making a big deal about what you call it, tapping out. I've never seen that before. Like I've never seen your own offensive lineman strip sacking the quarterback. Never seen that before. That was news to me. Never seen that before, and it was weird. I guess if it was an opposing team, it would have been funny, but because it was the Texans, I'm a Texan fan, it wasn't even alarming. It was just very, very agitating, and just very, very, just make you extremely mad, and just just irritated about the whole situation. And, like, you can't believe that was going on. So again, I seen somebody had put in here earlier like this probably like going to be like this one of the worst Monday football going to be a snooze fest. Yes, I do believe that this game is not interesting at all. Like, this, I thought that our least interested primetime game this season was going to be the Jets game. Like I actually thought like after like like once the Jets started looking bad like around like week 5, I was like, I mean that Thursday night game against the Jets is gonna be trash. Like I'm like that's gonna be the least interesting primetime game. And to actually be honest, it was not an interesting primetime game. Again, outside being a Texas fan and even as a Texas fan, that game was boring. That game against the Jets was a ball game. And I'm a Texan fan. That game was not interesting at all. Now, this game last week against the Lions, that was an exciting game to watch. Like as a Texan fan, that first half was great. Half irritated you, it pissed you off, absolutely. But it was still an entertaining game to watch. Like take myself out of being a Texan fan, the game in its entirety was an entertaining game because the first half was entertaining, the second half all the innocence because it wasn't like it was just like some like. It wasn't like it was like just some like weird game, like just weird some type interceptions. It was actually DBs making some plays, like DBs football out the air, like quarterbacks making bad. It was entertaining turnovers. They like the turnover interference. It wasn't just like a whole bunch of just little league don't know what they're doing and running around and it's a clown show. Like no, it was actually some entertaining interceptions and things going on. So. The game itself was entertaining. I don't think this game is going to be entertaining. And I'm only watching because I'm a Texan fan. If I was not a Texan fan, I wouldn't be watching the game at all. Not for fantasy purposes. I'm only watching this game because I am a Texan fan. But I'm not even excited about this game. Every Texan game, even the Jets game, I was excited before the game starts. I'm excited days leading up to the game. I'm not excited for this game at all. I'm not with the Texans. I'm not frustrated. I am frustrated with the Texans. I'm upset with the Texans. But it's the point where I'm like, I'm giving up on the team and I don't want to watch these games because, again, I think the following week when we play, I'll be interested in the other games. I'll be interested against the Jags. This game, it has a lot also to do with Dallas. Like, if Dallas would have Dak, I'd probably be more interested in this game. But the way we're playing and how bad Dallas is, I'm not interested in this game. Oh, not whatsoever. I'm not interested in this game. To me, this game now is not interesting. I'm only watching this game because I'm a Texan fan. I am. I am. That is the return of Nico, and I do want to see who I think is the best receiver in the league. I want to see a receiver in the league show up. I want him to. Him trying to regain his yardage and be top receiver in the league is going to be hard. Because especially how Jamar Chase has been playing and how he's far behind them now, missing 5 weeks. But I do think that he will be able to put himself back in somewhat standards that people. Hey, Nico Collins is out there, and shout out to the boy Chris for the super chat. Love, definitely appreciate that. Watching the Texans and Cowboys is going to be like. Watching the Texans and Cowboys is going to be like they are the clowns of the NFL. No, they're not the clowns. Maybe Dallas, but and the way Dallas is ran makes them potentially clowns. I just think it's just not going to be an entertaining game. I think it's going to be boring because I don't think Dallas is good enough to compete, but yet are not dominant enough to dominate the Cowboys. So, because normally it would be, say if Dallas was going, they've already lost some lines, but say Dallas, especially but that Prescott, if this version of the Cowboys was playing against the Lions, if this version of the Cowboys was playing against the Ravens, if this version of the Cowboys was playing against those type of teams, like those real good teams, they would get blown out. They will get embarrassed. And to some people watching, especially the Cowboys themselves, watching the team get embarrassed is entertaining. They like watching that. If the Texans was the team that we believed them to be coming into the season, this game would definitely be intriguing to watch. Because you think the Texans about to go out there, CJ about to light up this Dallas Cowboys secondary because this Dallas Cowboys team, 28 points a game. They're horrible in pass yardage. They give up a lot of pass yards. So the Texans, with a quarterback like CJ, with a receiver like Nico Collins and Tank Dell, and coming into the season, Stephon Diggs, you would have thought that, hey, they're going to be going out 450, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. CJ can break the touchdown, can get 6 touchdowns in this game. Like, that's what you're thinking going into the season. Or that if you took the version of the Houston Texans that we thought was going to be in this team, this Cowboy team that we seen on Monday night, you've been like, hey, this team right here is going to blow out. This is going to be entertaining to watch. The football going to be thrown all over the air. It's Monday Night Football, all these things. Hey, this is going to be an entertaining product. Or the Dallas Cowboys team, and it's going to be a good game, back and forth, boom, and the best wins. Neither are the case. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who are one of the worst teams in football right now, because right now Dallas is playing like the worst team in football. But the Texans are not dominant enough to dominate them. What they're going to do, they're going to let them hang and linger around to the point there'll be a close game when it shouldn't be. And because that is not going to be anything. It's not going to be entertaining that the Cowboys are hanging and lingering around, because you're like, why Houston can't put them away? Like, why the Texans can't put this Cowboy team away when they should be able to put them away, because they're better than them. They're more talented than them. They should be able to put them away. But they're not able to put them away. What's going to happen? They're not going to be able to put them away. They should be able to put them away, but not going to be able to put them away. You know why? You know why? Because they are the Texans. Shout out to my boy Wise, because my boy Wise like to call them, because that's what they do. They lose. They lose, and then people hang and linger around. They should not hang and linger around. Shout out to that boy Jeff for the Super Chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Going to be in K tomorrow, 34. Oh, I guess your 34-hour reset. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because you said 34 delivery on Monday. Any good sport bars to watch NFL Sunday? Need advice in the chat. So, hey, shout out to boy Jeff and love. Definitely appreciate that. He's saying he's going to be in Katy for his 34-hour reset. 34-hour reset days. I'm glad I ain't OTR no more. Because I ain't got to worry about 34-hour reset. I ain't OTR no more. But he in town for his 34-hour reset, which means he has the delivery on Monday, but he gonna be snapped because he's made it 2 days early because his delivery not to Monday, so he gonna be able to chill, reset the clock from tomorrow to Monday. He wants to know what's some good sport bars. I'm pretty sure to watch college football tomorrow, watch the NFL on Sunday in the Katy area. I'm trying to think what's some good sport bars in Katy. What's some good sport bars in Katy? So if y'all know, if anybody knows some good sport bars, put it in the chat of some in Katy or in the Katy area. What part of Katy you gonna be in? Bombshells. I was thinking about Bombshells or Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is pretty good, but I'm trying to think where's there Twin Peaks? Because if you on I-10. If you're in the I-10 area, there's a Twin Peaks, there's a Bombshells, and there's a what's the other one place? Is it Little Woodrows or Little Woodies? One of the two. It's either Little Wood. I think it's Little Woodrows. I believe it's Little Woodrows. So you got Twin Peaks, you got Bombshells. I believe it's Little Woodrows. They all on I-10. On the I-10, if you on the side with I-10, if you're gonna be close to I-10, because they're all off of I-10. All of them off of I-10. Twin Peaks, Bombshells. Like I say, I believe it's Little Woodrows, and there's another one. There's another one too. Dang, I can't think of what the other one's called. I've been to both Bomb Peaks. I've never been to Little Woodrows. I've heard about it. Pluckers. I think there's a Pluckers over there too. That's the other one. I ain't never been there before either, but I think there's a Pluckers. That's another one. I've heard both of them. I heard good stuff about Little Woodrows and Pluckers, but I ain't never been there. But Twin Peaks is in Spring Branch area. Ain't that still okay? Because like the Twin Peaks is over there by what area is that? I'm trying to think where is exactly the Twin Peaks at, because it's a twin. I know for a fact there's I know for a fact there's a Twin Peaks off of I-10, because it's before you get to Memorial City Mall. It's way before you get to Memorial City Mall. If you come in going this way I-10 Memorial City Mall up there, it's way before you get over there. I think it's over there by I think it's over there by West Side Chevrolet. That's not West Side. That's Mike Hike. That's Mike Hike Chevrolet. That's not West Side Chevrolet. That's what I'm tripping on. I'm thinking that Chevrolet dealership is I'm thinking that I'm thinking that Chevrolet dealership is West Side Chevrolet. That's not West. That's Mike Hike. That's Mike Hike Chevrolet. My fault. Shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. They better make TDs first half because they lucky to get a field goal in the second half. If the Texans lose, y'all season is over. Smoke and mirrors reveal. Shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. I mean, the Texans have scored one. They've only scored a second half touchdown in one game in the one of the last 5 games, 6 games. So yeah, so the last 6 games, they've 5 of them they have not scored a touchdown. They haven't scored a touchdown in the second half since the Patriots game. I said this last week. In the Texans, 10 games, they scored 6 second half touchdowns. 10 games, only scored 6 second half touchdowns. 2 of those touchdowns was the first game not against the Patriots, against the Colts. Then they scored 2 against the Patriots. So 4 of those touchdowns of their 6 came in 2 games. So yeah, that's not good at all. Like that's just they do not score second half touchdowns. I do think the Texans win this game. I say all this because I think the Texans are a better team. I do think it's going to be closer than it should be. The Texans should, this version of the Cowboys, the Texans should beat them like 31-10. They should beat them 31-10, 35, 41-10. It should be a complete blowout. It should be a complete just domination. It should be able to go out there and dominate, make your opponent tap. But the Texans not going to do that because the Texans act like they can't score points. And also, I do believe that Michael in that D line is going to be able to get to CJ, put pressure on CJ, make CJ uncomfortable because CJ doesn't trust his offensive line, and able to hit CJ and get CJ on the ground. And I do think that CJ will get sacked in this game more than once. He will get pressured very much in this game. I do believe him to throw for over 200 yards. So I think he'll have a 200-yard performance. And I do think he'll get at least 2 touchdowns, mostly because I think Collins is back. And Nico Collins is going to get you 100 yards. He's going to get you a touchdown. And he's either going to get you 2 touchdowns or he's going to be able to make it easier for else to get to the end zone as well. So I got the Texans winning 24-14. This defense that the Texans has is legit. And this defense is going to be able to dominate, I believe, this Cowboys offense. The problem is, even though this defense is legit and this defense is good, every single game this season, the Texans defense has given up a big play in some form or fashion. I believe this is a championship defense, but they do give up a big play in every single game. They let AR both games get 50-plus touchdowns. In both games. The first game, they let them get 2 and let them get 3 50-plus yard plays. The second game against 81, was it 81-yard touchdown? It was a 60-yard touchdown. A game against Josh Allen, when Josh Allen was 9 for 30, they gave him a 50-yard touchdown. Drake May, first career touchdown to Keyshawn Butte was like a 45-yard plus touchdown. Trey Lance, not Trey, I said Trey Lance. Jordan Love had like a 45-yard touchdown. Uh, Aaron Rodgers had two big plays for touchdowns. They got a big play last week. Detroit Lions. They were able to get a big play. They're going to get a 30. They're going to get a 35-yard plus play against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let Tane Bisbee get a 45-yard run. Now they weren't able to cash it in, weren't able to get any points off of it, but we allowed them to get and cash in. We allowed them to get a big play in that game. I think even Caleb had a big play. Like so, everybody gets a big play, and if our offense playing of the standard that we thought them to play this season, it wouldn't matter because they give up a big play, but this defense is so dominant the rest of the game, and our offense is due and cash in on the things our defense is able to take advantage of that the defense does. It doesn't matter, and it's just footnotes in a game. Oh yeah, they had a 35-yard reception. So what? They lost 5-7. I mean, like you look at the Patriot game. We blew them out 41-21, whatever the score was. 45-21, whatever the score was. And like I said, there was a big play. There were actually two big plays in that game. And it talks about it. Nobody brings it up because the Texans were able to handle business offensively. The defense got turnovers, and the Texans offense handled business offensively. So it did hurt you. Didn't hurt you all. So because of that, we don't talk about it. It doesn't hurt us. It doesn't matter. But when the games are close and nip and tuck, and they're a close game, and the offense not performing, those big plays they're obvious, and you see them and you feel them. So because of it, I do think that they'll be able to get some big plays and be able to get the ball in the end zone. They do have CeeDee Lamb. I believe CeeDee Lamb is going to play, even though I thought he might not, but will play. And I think so they'll be able to get played, maybe even get two big plays. And because they're able to get a big play here and there in the third, they're gonna be able to put some points on the offense because they don't cash in on when they need to. They're gonna give short drives and have long field goal attempts and things like that. They're gonna allow the Dallas Cowboys to get other possessions. And the way CJ's been sloppy all over, throwing interceptions, been fumbling and stuff like that. Be able to give Dallas extra possessions, especially if they're able to get to them because of this pass rush and the way how bad this offensive line is. So that's why I think that this score will be close. And I predict the Texans to win the game. I still think the Texans will beat the Dallas Cowboys, but it will be a closer game than it should be. And it would be 24 to 14. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things. I always do the look into the week and talk about the other games. But we're at the point of the season where the playoffs are coming into, like, the playoff picture is forming, and we pretty much know the teams that are basically vying for the playoff spots and the teams who have the divisions and things like that. So I want to also talk about the playoffs. Things are looking and trending as well. And shout out to everybody just come up in here. Make sure you hit that super chat love. Or make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate that. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Titan. What's good, bro? What's good? Everything good, bro? Everything good, bro? Hey, that boy Trill, what's the deal? Trill say, what's the deal? What's good? What's good with y'all? I appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure you hit that like button. So, these are the slates of the games coming in this Sunday. So, the noon o'clock games, you got the Chicago Bears hosting Green. I think Green Bay gets that game. It seems like Chicago's taking 4-5 back. Detroit Lions hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wouldn't that be something if the Jags beat Detroit? Like now, if the Jags are able to, I think then Texan fans should be sad. But I think Detroit beats Jags. I think the Jags are just not a good team compared to the Detroit Lions. And I think the Jags themselves are trying to get the number one overall pick for a multitude of reasons. They might want Travis Hunter, or two. The best thing for them is to get the number one pick and able to trade the number one pick because of Shedeur Sanders, and they already have their quarterback who they have invested in. So they're going to invest and keep playing Trevor Lawrence. If I was them, if I would get the number one pick, and I'm going to actually talk about them having the number one pick because it's very vital to something I want to say. for them having number one pick, if they be able to get that and able to take it and flip it and get three, four first round picks or players or whatever the case may be, that would help them out tremendously, help boost them up, and actually help them have a quicker rebuild or turnaround in their organization. But I do think Detroit beats the Jags. The Titans host Minnesota. I think Minnesota beats Tennessee. Miami hosts Vegas. I think Miami might start to find something on Monday, so I think Miami will actually go out there and beat Vegas. The New England Patriots host the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams go out there and beat the New England Patriots. New Orleans hosts Cleveland. This was a game that I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of hard for me. This game, I really don't know where I'm gonna go. Derek Carr is back. Derek Carr is back. I'm gonna go Cleveland. I'm gonna go Cleveland, but not by much. The Jets host the Indians. I think the Jets beat Indy. Pittsburgh hosts Baltimore. I believe Pitt beats Baltimore. I think Baltimore beats Pitt when they play the second time. And that when we played like 3 games in the 10-game span, like when they played on Saturday, then turn on Christmas. I think Baltimore beats Pittsburgh then that Saturday game. So I think they split. So I think Pittsburgh wins this game, but I think Baltimore wins the following matchup. Then you have those are the 3 o'clock games. Denver hosts Atlanta. I Falcons win. San Francisco hosts Seattle. I know San Francisco beat Seattle earlier this season. I think they get a sweep. I think San Francisco beat here. Buffalo hosts Kansas City. I think KC gets their first loss season. If KC beats Buffalo, I think one of two things is gonna happen. The Chiefs are either going to go undefeated or they're going to lose to a sorry team. One of the two. I think the last game is against Denver. Last game of the season against Denver. And then, I mean, that's a game that they could end up losing just because, like, it's the last game of the season. Even if they fight and trying to, because again, undefeated, they're going to play their starters because they're going to try to play to be undefeated. If they beat Buffalo, I think either they're going to be undefeated, lose to like a trash team. They're going to lose to like the Raiders or Denver, or they're just going to lose to a weak team, just a team like how they lose to them, something like that. But I feel like Buffalo's going to beat Kansas City. I feel like Buffalo's going to beat Kansas City, and then the Sunday night game is the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. That the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Chargers. So, in recapping, the 12 o'clock, I got Green Bay beat Chicago. I got Detroit beat Jacksonville. I got Minnesota beat Tennessee. I got Miami beat Vegas. I got the Rams beat New England. Cleveland beat New Orleans. I got the Jets beat Indy. I got Pittsburgh beat Baltimore. In the 3 o'clock games, I got the Falcons beat Denver. I got San Francisco beat Seattle. I got Buffalo beat Kansas City. And the Sunday night game, I have the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, let's look at these playoffs because as it stands right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are the number 1 seed in the AFC with a 9-0 record. The number 2 seed with an 8-2 record. The number 3 seed is Pittsburgh with a 7-2 record. The Texans are the 4 seed and a 6-4 record. The 5 seed is Baltimore with a 7-3 record. The Chargers are the 6-3 record. Denver is the 7th seed with a 5-5 record. And the teams on the outside looking in, first up is Indy with a 4-6 record. Right behind them is Cincinnati with a 4-6 record. Then Miami right behind them with a 3 record. And then the Jets are right behind them with a 3-7 record. So as it stands right now, I'm going to go to the NFC too. In the NFC, Detroit is the number 1 seed with an 81 record. Philly is the number 2 seed with an 82 record. The Falcons are the 3 seed with a 6-4 record. The Arizona Cardinals are the 4 seed with a 4 record. The Minnesota Vikings are a 5 seed with a 7-4 record. The Green Bay Packers are the 6 seed with a 3 record. The Washington Commanders are a 7 seed with a 7-4 record. That's they've already played yesterday. That's why, even though they got more wins, they got more losses. That's why they're a 7 seed. So if Green Bay will lose, that would just flip. That was just as it stands right now today. the teams on the outside looking in this order. You got San Francisco right there with a 5-4 record. Then behind them is Chicago with a 4 record. Then behind them is the Rams with a 4-5 record. And then behind them is Seattle 4-5 record. Those are the playoffs and the teams on the outside looking in. If the playoffs will start now, Kansas City and Detroit will have their bye weeks. Texans are the 4 seed. They will host the Baltimore Ravens. Arizona's the 4 seed, and they will host the Minnesota Vikings. Are the 3 seed. They will host the Los Angeles Chargers. Atlanta is the 3rd seed, and they will host the Green Bay Packers. Buffalo is the 2 seed, and they will host the Denver Broncos. And Philly 2 seed, and they will host the Washington Commanders. That's how the playoffs stand. I do believe that the Bengals, by the end of this week, the Bengals will be in the playoffs because I have losing this week to the Falcons, and then I also have Cincinnati beating them, so they'll both be 5-6. At that time, I think they have a tiebreaker, but it don't matter because Cincinnati actually plays Denver later on this season. So I think that Cincinnati actually gets into the playoffs because of how weak this AFC is. I know I've told people this several times. I think the NFC is a strong this year. I think the NFC is a conference than the AFC. Just by looking at the numbers, I mean, yeah, okay, Kansas City is 9-1, Detroit is 8-1. That's not the way you look at it. You look at as in total, and you look at the bottom, and then you see whose bottom is, and to look and see what conference is better as a whole. And when you look at it, you got the bottom teams in the AFC. The 5 seed has a 7-3 record, the 6 seed has a 6-3 record, and the 7 seed that's in the playoff 5 record. The last 3 seeds in the NFC all have wins. And have the most losses is 4. Most losses is 4. 7 wins, most losses is 4. They're better conference. Then the teams on the outside have winning records. Like San Francisco has a 5-4 record. On the AFC side, their outside looking in right there has a 4-6 record. So San Francisco, I think San Francisco will beat Seattle. They will have 6 wins. They'll be 6-4 and be on the out. They'll be 6-4 and still guaranteed to be on the outside. They're still on the outside. Cincinnati, that's 4-6, has a chance this season at the end to be in the playoffs. By Sunday night, they have a chance to be in the playoffs. No matter what happens, San Francisco will not be in the playoffs Sunday night, no matter who's a tie. And they already have a better record. So again, the AFC conference-wise is a weaker conference. And speaking of weakness and difference, let's talk about the AFC South specifically because that's our division. That's the real Texans or the 4 seed. The Texans, this is the AFC South. Texans lead the division at 6-4. Indianapolis Colts are second, 4-6. Tennessee is right behind them at 2-7. The Jacksonville Jaguars are right behind them at 2-8. Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are leading to have the number 1 pick. As of right now, they're slated to have the number 1 pick. This will be the 3rd time them having the number 1 overall pick since 2021. Do y'all know in that span, the Texans had 4 wins twice in that span? The Texans had 4 wins, and the Texans still wasn't the worst team in the division because Jacksonville was the worst team in the division. Because both of those times that the Texans won 4 games, 2 of those games was against Jacksonville, so the Texans had a tiebreaker because they beat Jacksonville twice. So they had a tiebreaker above Jacksonville, flipped them both those times in the 2020 season and in the 2021 season. And they had the first overall pick in 2020, had the first overall pick in the 2022 draft, back-to-back drafts, and slated to have the number 1 overall pick in this draft. And I said this the other day, and people were upset about it because they act like they didn't understand what I was saying when I said that until proven otherwise, I look at this Texan team the same way I looked at the Gary Kubiak and Matt Schaub team, the Bill O'Brien and Deshaun Watson teams, and now the D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud fall into that same boat. Until proven otherwise, They're a team that wins the AFC South. Wait. Wins trash AFC South because the division is a trash division. They win the trash AFC South. They're the 4 seed because when they play against other teams, they don't have tiebreakers against nobody else to be the 2, the 3 seed, or the number 1 seed. They're the number 4 seed because they're the worst of the 4 playoff division. They're the worst of the 4 division winners. So they'll be the 4 seed. Maybe potentially get a good favorable matchup, get to play them at home. We did the Cleveland Browns, win that game, and then go off to Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, and maybe even Pittsburgh, and lose in the divisional round. Is which the Texans have done ever since they made the playoffs back in 2011. Every single time. Every single time. Andy Dalton twice. In 2011, beat Andy Dalton. They beat Andy Dalton. What they do, they go to New England. No, they go to Baltimore. Lose to Baltimore. The following year, beat Andy Dalton and the Bengals again. Go to New England. Lose. Then, the next time they playoffs, they lose against Kansas City at home, 30-0. Then the following year, win the division again. They against Connor Cook and the Oakland Raiders. They beat Connor Cook and the Oakland Raiders. Go to New England and lose. Take a break. The next time they go to the playoffs, they lose 21-0 at home to Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts. The following year, they get Josh Allen, beat the Buffalo Bills, go to Kansas City, and come 24-0 lead in the second quarter and lose that game. Last year, play against Joe Flacco's Cleveland Browns, who Joe Flacco was just benched once again because, like I told y'all the other day, that carriage turned to talking and it was done. We ended that story last year in the playoff game in RG. We ended that story last year. We ended that comeback story right there. We put a fork in it. It was done. It was over. He had a little piece of juice left in the gas tank, able to unload against Jacksonville earlier this year, and they still lost the damn game. But he was able to put up a whole bunch of points because Jacksonville ain't got no damn defense themselves. So he was able to put some on the board, but he still lost the game. We ended that story last season. Then go out and go to Baltimore. And for our offensive performance, and really our offensive woes really started against Baltimore. Like, we act like this is something new, but that really started against Baltimore because the only that we scored against the Ravens, we had a field goal and Steve Sims punt back. That was the only points we had in that game. So our offense was not scoring in the second half, not able to get offense, not able to put up points. Happened the last time we was in the play when we was in the play at Baltimore. That's when those stories really happened, but we ain't talking about it no more. We swept down the road. Now again, no Joe Mixon, no Stephon Diggs. You thought we improved. Also, Tank Dell wasn't playing either. I get to understand that, but that's really we could really start going back and looking like, hey, that's really when it started. Was that playoff game against the Ravens where this offense ain't show up and where CJ didn't look like the quarterback that we thought him to look like. We could really talk about and point that out. But I say all that to say that this franchise in general has not been battle tested like other teams because it's just not good. Now, I'm not saying that the Texans only get to the playoffs because they're a trash division. No. The Texans win the division because they're the best team in the division. It's a byproduct that the division's trash, but the Texans are the best team in the division. That's the reason why they win the division against the playoffs, because they're the best team in the division. And then do with the division being trash. It could be mediocre, and the Texans, if they're the best team, they'll still win the division against the playoffs. The thing is, they're not battle tested like other divisions are. Like in the AFC North, what's going on in the NFC North? Like, that's a competitive division when you got right now, you got Detroit Lions 8-1, Minnesota Vikings 7-3, Green Bay is 6-3, Chicago Bears are 4-5? No, yeah, the Chicago Bears 4-5. They're a game behind 500. They play Green Bay. If they beat Green Bay, if they beat Green Bay, they're 5-5. Green Bay 6-4. So that means the division will be 8-1, 8-1, 7-4. Just say Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay all lose, and Chicago will have to win if Green Bay loses because they play against each other. That means the division will be 8-2, 7-5. Yeah, it'll be 8-2, 7-5. No, I'm sorry, 7-4 because actually Minnesota's 7-3. So it'd be 8-5, 7-4, 6-4, and 5-5. That would be the AFC. That would be the NFC North. The AFC North. We talk about Pittsburgh 7-2. We talk about Baltimore 7-3, and we name talk about Cincinnati 4-6. Now Cleveland's a team. Cleveland only has 2 wins, but the AFC South has a 6-4 team, a 4-6 team, a 2-7 team, and a 2-8 team. We're talking about being the number 1 overall pick for the 3rd time since 2021. But people get upset when I say the division is trash, because the division is trash. I'm sorry that people don't like the truth, but that's the truth. It's not a good division. And to be honest, like, it hasn't been a good division in 10 years. Like, I mean, we've had moments. I know Jacksonville 2017 made the AFC Championship game. I know Tennessee in 2019 made AFC Championship game. I know in 2021, without Derrick Henry, Tennessee was in the AFC. Now, they lost to the Baltimore Ravens the first playoff game, but they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. I understand that. I know one year, I think is that the same year? No. In 2020, both Tennessee and Indianapolis both made the playoffs. In 2020, the Texans and Indianapolis both made the playoffs because the Texans lost it. The following year, the Texans and Tennessee both made the playoffs. I'm not saying that, but when you look at the rest of those teams, the other 2 teams, like the 2 teams made the playoffs, the other 2 teams were bottom feeders. And then the teams constantly bottom feeders. The Texans, since 2020, had 2 seasons where they won 4 games, and they still won the worst team in the Jacksonville was. Then the one time they were the worst in the division when they won 3 games, Indianapolis was right behind them picking 4th in the draft. Tennessee was right behind them. I know they moved up. He was right behind them, I think, originally picking like 8 or 9 in the draft. They had their top 10 pick. Like, Jacksonville was the only team that didn't have a top 10 pick because, again, somebody got to get to the playoffs. Like, somebody got to get in the playoffs. So, yeah, like, they didn't have a top 10 pick because they got to get to the playoffs because you win division, somebody gets into the playoffs. But this division for the last 10 years has not been a good division. The Texans, during Bill O'Brien's era, that's the reason why people are so upset about Bill O'Brien always talking about the AFC South. The Texans won the AFC South 3 times with a 9-7 record. They barely won the division. They won the division on the last game of the season. It wasn't like they won the division 3 weeks before the season ended, and then they just did what it. Like, when the Texans first won the division in 2011, the first time, they won with 10 games. They was 10-3 when they went into Cincinnati, and TJ Yates threw the in-wheel touchdown to, was it Jacoby Jones? Or was it Kevin Walter? Kevin Walter. Yeah, he threw in-wheel touchdown to Kevin Walter in the end zone against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati to clinch our very first ever playoff berth and division title. And in 2011, we were 10-3. We had 3 games left, and we won the division. And you won it with double-digit wins. You won it with 10 wins. You had 10 wins, and you won it with 3 weeks left. Bill O'Brien won the division multiple times at 9-7 and won it the last game of the year. That's different. That's not good. Winning the division on the last game of the season and only winning 9 games versus winning the division with 10 games with 3 games left to play. Like the Tech, because they won 10, they was 10-3. They ended up being 10-6 because they lost the following week to the Carolina Panthers. Then we went to Indianapolis on Thursday night and lost to the Indianapolis Colts on the last drive. And then that last game against Tennessee at home, our playoff seed was set. We were already I think we were the third seed. I don't even think we were I don't even think we were the fourth seed. I feel like we were the third seed. Yeah, we were. We were the third seed, and we were already like stamped in that third seed slot. We were gonna move up or down. So he didn't play till he ended up playing. Jake, we had Jake on the roster, and we also had Jeff Garcia, and they played, and we scored a game time touchdown because Tennessee had to leave. We scored a game time touchdown too because Kubiak didn't want to go to overtime because like there was no need to go overtime. I'm gonna go ahead and win this game right now. So we went for two. We didn't go for two. We went for two. We didn't connect. We ended up not getting it. We ended up losing to Tennessee by a point. We could have won that game 11. We could have won that game and been 11-5, but we ended up being 10-6. It didn't matter. Again, now you could have won out those last three games and been 13-3 and potentially had the number one seed. So, like I said, that's a difference of win the division with 10 wins with 3 games left to go, then win the game at the end of the season with only 9, barely win it. Because the division might be competitive. See, people confuse competitiveness with good and bad. Like, no, because y'all can all be bad and be competitive because all the good teams are in the same spot. So yeah, they're not competitive. Or it could be very good in a bad division and won't be competitive at all. Like New England. Like, yeah, New England wasn't in a good division back in the day. Like the AFC always said the AFC East was actually worse than the AFC South. Like, but the difference with the Patriots is when they played against other teams, regular season, or in the playoffs, they would still win. Actually, the reason why they were never the 4 seed, they would either be the number 1 or the number 2 seed. They always had a bye because back then you had a bye. First and 2 seed had byes. The Patriots always had byes. You know why? Because they would beat other teams, tiebreakers against other AFC teams, and they'll play well. And then get playoffs and beat those teams in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl because they're so it didn't matter that their division was bad. Yeah, they was beating up on the bad division. That's the reason why they were able to put themselves and position themselves because they would be going 5-1 in their division. That's why they was able to position themselves to get those seedings. But also they also take care of big teams. I'll give you an example. 2011, the Houston Texans started off 5-1, then also started off 5-0 rather. My bad. Started off 5-0, then went 11-1. They end up the season 12-4. That's our best record in franchise history. 12-12. We were the 3rd seed. Again, started the season 5-0. At one point in the season, they were 11-1. Ended up the season 12-4, which means if they were 11-1, 12-4, that means they went 1-3 in the last 4 games. Even though they were 5-0, their 6th game was Sunday Night Football against Aaron Rodgers and the Bears at home at NRG. The Texans got blown out in that game. First loss of the season, they got blown out. They went on to win 6 more games to be 11-1. Then Monday Night Football, they go up to New England and get completely embarrassed by the New England Patriots. Come home, they beat Indianapolis, win because they clinched the division with their 12th win. Then they lose to Minnesota because they only need their games. Home against Minnesota at Indianapolis to end the season. You win one of those games, you clinch the number 1 seed because you will have a better record than the Patriots, even though the Patriots beat you. And you had already beat Denver earlier that year. That was Peyton Manning's first season with the Broncos, and I think it was like week 3. So you had beat them early on before they had got their feet up underneath them. Beat them early in the season, so it don't matter when you play them. You had the tiebreaker against them. So it don't matter if that was the same football team. You had the tiebreaker against them. So you win one more game, you would have been there were at least 13 wins. I think the Patriots at the time, the most wins to win would have been 12. The most wins that they could win would have been 12 because I think they lost some games earlier that season. So the most wins that they could have got you would already have a better record than them, even though they beat you to clinch the better record than them. You have home field advantage. You're the number one seed. You lose home against the Minnesota Vikings. That's the year that Adrian Peterson rushed for 1,000 rush yards, and the Texans defense held him under 80, held him under 90. I think he was at 88 yards that game. So you held him to under 90 yards. He rushed for 2,000 yards that season. So obviously he averaged over 100 yards every game, and you was able to hold 90. But offensively, they weren't able to do anything. I think the Texans only put up like 12 points in that game. It was crazy. They couldn't do anything offensively. Matt Schaub, Andre Johnson, Arian Foster couldn't do anything that game. And then the last game was at Indianapolis. That's when Chuck Pagano came back, and that was his first game coaching back since he was diagnosed with what you call it. So that was his first game coaching back that season. And Madhouse, and that's before we've ever won in Indianapolis. So we never beat Indianapolis we lost both those games and ended up going from the number 1 seed to the number 3 seed. Really beat Andy Dalton and the Bengals in the playoffs, in the first round, walk around. Then we go to New England and get embarrassed against New England in the playoffs. Again, non-competitive division. This was a good Texan team. Like, again, this team won 12 games. It was a good team. But when they lost in embarrassing fashion. Like, they lost multiple games in fashion. They got blown out in their first 2 losses. Home against Green Bay. That was at home. Home against Green Bay at New England. You got embarrassed in both games. Blown out in both games. Minnesota at home. If I'm not mistaken, I think the quarterback of that Minnesota Vikings game was Davis Webb. Joe Webb, my bad. Davis Webb used to be a quarterback for Texas. Joe Webb. If I'm not mistaken, I think Joe Webb was the quarterback. Because I know that season it would have been Christian Ponder, but I know Christian Ponder at some point that season had got hurt. I don't remember if he had got hurt before he played us or he got hurt. I know for a fact that Christian Ponder didn't play the playoff game, that Webb played in the playoff game. I know for a fact that Webb played the playoff game. I feel like Webb played against us. I don't feel like Christian Ponder played that game. But the problem is that we couldn't score enough points offensively. That's why that game was embarrassing. And you was at home. You couldn't get 12 points. You couldn't get more than 12 points at home. And you had Andre Johnson and Arian Foster. And you couldn't get more than 12 points at home. And then against the Indianapolis Colts with a rookie quarterback, Andrew Luck. And a game that you to win home for them. This wasn't they rest their stars, they play. No, they tried to win those games because that's the difference from you going on the road. I mean, that's different from you hosting Cincinnati, then got going over to New England or wherever, to you hosting whoever. You're going to host the weakest seed in the playoffs. The number 1 seed will have hosted the weakest seed in the playoffs. I'll have to see who that was. I'll have to look and see exactly what that playoff bracket is. Actually, I'm going to look and see what that playoff bracket is tonight. When I get off here, I'm going to look and see what that playoff bracket is. Because now I have interest myself of who was what were the low seeds and potentially who the Texans would have hosted if they would have won the division. I know it's above, I think there could be a whole different scenario if the Texans actually won that number 1 seed. But I do want to just take a gander of it. But in all, like, historically, for the last, like I said, 10, and that actually dates back more than 10 years ago. That's dates back 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I'm talking about the last 10 years, just since 2014. This division has not been a good division. It's been a trash division for the most part. Good moments. But for the most part, this division is a trash division. That's not the only reason why the Texans win the division. But for the most part, it's a trash division. For the most part, it's a trash division. And I'm just saying, like, just I don't know why people want to argue that point. Because it's just, I don't know. I don't understand why you would want to argue that. That doesn't make any sense. That's stupid to me to want to argue that point. Like, one, you're not even, like, you defending you defending the option. You defending the rest of the division, which is the ops. Like, yeah, the niggas is trash. They trash. Forget that. They trash. Like you defending the rest of the ops. Like, why do you want to like take up for them? I don't get it. I don't understand that. Like, like why would you want to take up for them? That to me that doesn't make any sense. Like, that don't make no sense. To me, that don't make no sense at all. But it is what it is, man. What's good? What's good, bro? I definitely believe the Texans gonna run away with this division. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the Texans are gonna run away with the division. I don't like if the Texans. This is the thing. If the Texans don't run away with this division, that's a problem in itself. Like if the Texans don't take over and run away with this division, that's a problem. Like that's a problem, and that's if the Texans lose this division because you have a 2-game lead over Indy as it stands right now. And you've already swept them. So Indy has to have a better record than you. They already have 6 losses. So the best they can is 11-6. The best they can be is 11-6. Tennessee, you have yet to play them. So you play Tennessee twice. 2-7. The best that they can be is 10-7. If Tennessee being 2-7 come back and win this division, and the only way they're able to do that is by you. That is alarming. And both D'Amico and Nick needs to be fired immediately if that were to happen. If Indianapolis, you swept, that has to have a better record than you, win the division. And Nick Caserio have to be fired immediately. There's no other way to say it. That horrible offenses. Those are just fireable offenses. I know people brought up not the Jets, but the Jags last year. The difference with the Jags when they were 8-3 and was leading the division, ended up losing the division, even though they go 1-5 down the stretch. The difference also is they split with us too. It wasn't like they swept the Texans. They did split with the Texans. There was other factors. Like we ain't split with Indianapolis. We swept them. It's not even like that we got a chance to play them. We swept them. And then with Tennessee, because they're so even though Tennessee like them they're so far in the hole that bro, this no. There's no way, bro. They got more losses than we got wins. There's no way that we should be able. No way that we should lose that. That's unfathomable. It just is. It just is. But like I said, all in all, I do have the Houston Texans going up to Dallas and beating the Dallas Cowboys. I said my prediction is 24-14. I think it's gonna be closer than what people think. Or closer when not just closer when people think closer when it should be, because it should be a complete rout. It should be complete like blowout. But the Texans are going to do that. I think the Texans are going to let them linger around and whatever, because that's just what they do. It seems like that's what this version of the Texans do. Nico Collins is back. I say he was a full go at practice, so I feel like he should be back this time. So we'll see exactly. I know people talking about worried about Christian Harris. The Christian Harris is trending to come back like after the bye week. That's in 4 weeks. Like we play Dallas, then we play Tennessee, then we play Jacksonville, Then we have a bye week. That's week 15. Christian Harris don't need to play football this year. He needs to sit out. Like, he ain't play football season, and you're going to bring him back after the bye week when we played 3 games in a 10-game span. From December 15th to December 25th, we host Miami, we go to Kansas City, and then we host Baltimore. So you telling me that you're going to put your inside Christian Harris, who hasn't played football all season long, has only had 1 practice and didn't even finish that practice during training camp because he got hurt again. You're going to put him out in the field with the speed of Miami, then playing against one of the best quarterback in the game right now, in Mahomes, and then going up against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in a 10-game span, 10-day span, from December 15th to December 25th. That's not a good idea. This is not the situation where when JJ tore his pecs and came back after 8 games. That's different. By JJ tore his pecs, it was like week 7 or week 8, because that's the reason why he was able to. That's the reason why it was an 8 week period. That's why it was an 8 week period. So yeah, so JJ played football for the first 7 to 8 weeks. Like, he played football and practice and all that for 7 to 8 weeks. So he played 7, 8 games in that span, practicing that type of stuff, training. So he was fine. So he was still in football shape. Like, he still had his football weight. Like, this dude didn't even get out. He didn't even get to training camp. So you know he's not in football shape. You know he's not in his football playing weight. He don't need to play. He needs to sit out. Like I said earlier this season, I didn't expect him back to after this Dallas game. So I'm thinking next week against Tennessee, and that was the cutoff for me. Like, if he wasn't back before we got to the December, he don't need to play football. He don't need to play football. He like just sit down this season, take a whole season off, and be fresh and complete and be ready to go next year. Plus, we don't need to rush him back because our linebackers ain't the problem. And I know you see that. Orlando Magic, hey, Orlando. Play the song, Orlando Magic, hey, Orlando Magic, hey, Orlando Magic. Oh, Orlando Magic, Orlando Magic. Play the song, play the song, play the song, play the song already. Hey, that boy Franz is definitely stepped up. Definitely stepped up after the injury to Paulo. Yes. Number three seed in the East. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had a feeling we're gonna be feeling today too. So that's our second cup win. This whole in season tournament cup thing majiggy like that. I actually don't. I mean, not I'm not a fan of it, but I'm also not opposing either. Like, I'm kind of like, it don't really matter. But if we gonna play it, I want to win it. If we gonna win it, let's win it. I'm not like overly. I'm not. Oh yeah, we won it. But like, hey, we gonna be in it. Let's go ahead and do the thing. Let's win it. Hey, participate. Let's win. But if we don't win, I'm not tripping. Because I want that real championship. I want that Larry O'Brien trophy. I want that NBA Finals trophy. You know what I'm saying? Come close to a couple times. And to most people, discretion, 2009, we were closer than y'all think. I know we lost in 5. I know LA won 4-1. That series was closer than most people think. Was it game 2? Was it game 2? They went to overtime. We lost when Courtney Lee missed the shot. Courtney missed the layup. Going to the game, we had the ball and tied the ball. We inbound the Courtney Lee goes up for a layup, miss it, goes overtime. Win. I think that was game 2. Then we won game 3. Then game 4, we was up with 10 seconds left, and all we needed was to make 1 free throw out of 2. He missed both, and the Lakers got the game. And now we go to overtime, and the Lakers win in overtime. So Lakers got 2 of those wins. If we get 1 of those wins, now instead of it being, now it automatically goes to 6. So it'll go from 5 to go to 6, and who knows what happens if we do that. But that's the conversation today. So like I said, that was closer than what most people give credit. But yeah, play the song, play the song, play the song. Like I said, shout out to everybody that came through here. Shout out to everybody hit that like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button. Everybody came through here. If you ain't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give y'all some time. If you ain't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button right now. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more time. Everybody that came through here, appreciate everybody hit the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Y'all don't know how much that means to me when y'all hit that super chat love. Y'all really don't know and don't understand how much that really means to me every single time y'all hit that super chat love. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all right after the game on Monday night football versus the rival Dallas Cowboys. I don't consider them a rival, but some people do. But yeah, it is what it is. Some people consider them a rival. Make sure y'all be right here after the game. We gonna chop it up as what we seen, what we haven't seen. Like I said before, I think the Texans win this game 24 to I say 20. Uh I we should beat them. Like I said, pretty. But this team has yet to show me that they have that capability. So until they show me that they have ability to do that, I think they're gonna win. But I don't have the confidence of the performance that I should. I have confidence that they're gonna win. 'Cause I just think they're a better team, and I just think that Dallas is just that bad. And also, I think they're trying to get Shador Sanders and Deion Sanders. Uh, so I think they're trying to position themselves to do just that. But I thought that this team was going. I expect this team going into the season, and they have basically showed me that they're not ready to do that. So that's why I said what I said. Until proven otherwise, that's how I view this team. A team to win the AFC, possibly get a favorable matchup, be the number seed, play that Saturday night, that first Saturday, a wild game on Saturday, possibly get a favorable matchup, win that game, and then go to Baltimore, Kansas City, or Buffalo, this year, and lose. So until they do something different, until they position themselves to be the number 2 and number 3 seed, or what, not even number 2, still got to go on the road, depending on who they're playing against. And they until they position themselves number 2 seed, because their number 1 seed is gone. Until they position themselves to be the number 2 seed, or they go out and they win the divisional round, I'm gonna see this team as that same old team. So until they prove me otherwise, and there's outside beating Dallas 50-0, I don't know if they could they're not gonna be able to do it on Monday. So only thing they can do on Monday is just look worse by losing to Dallas. That's the only thing they can do. This that's really the only thing they can do. But like I said, shout out to everybody that came through here. Shout out to everybody. But definitely appreciate that. Shout out to everybody hit the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that as well. Appreciate all the love and all the support. Like I said, make sure y'all be right here after the game. We're gonna talk about what we seen. We're gonna break it down. Appreciate everybody coming through. Holla.